do a live or a training.
Okay, it's just saying preparing to go live. I'll tell.
It looks like we're live.
We're live.
Ooh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our chat for everybody that's connecting now or that will be watching the replay later. This is exciting. I'm really excited to have this group together and to have this chat. So I'll start, and then we're just going to go around the circle and talk about what this means for us, whether it's in our personal lives or what we've seen in our clients, or what we've seen and felt going on more so inside of ourselves. So today's topic is about the activation of our dormant DNA and the frequencies of ascension as we genetically change and evolve as a species. So we know, and most people are aware now of the great change that's happening, which is not a small thing, but an entirely huge lot of new cycles beginning on Earth. And it's not just that it's changing from outside in our consciousness from inside of our consciousness, but our actual genetics and our DNA is changing from the inside of us, and it's all mutating into something different. And so from the Gene Keys and Human Design perspective, so I'm Shay. I haven't even properly introduced myself for those people who are new to me. And I'm an evolutionary astrologer and have been for 12 years now. And then in the last 4 years, I started to become a Gene Keys guide and human design facilitator, and also past life recall and soul activation, stepping into your mastery. So from a Gene Keys and astrology perspective, all these cycles, so there's always been a saying with astrology that as above, so below. But even as above, what we've been aware of in the galaxy has been limited, where we're down on this lower dimension. As soon as we come down into a physical body, the frequencies are more denser and we can't see everything that's going on in the entire cosmos. But that's starting to change and open up as we connect more to our higher bodies. And before, all this dark matter that they've seen in the universe that they thought was just space, and now the same within us, all of our what they thought was dormant or junk DNA is starting to activate. And from an astrology point of view, and also from the Gene Keys and Human Design perspective, we haven't even birthed yet in humanity. So we haven't even been born. We've been since the beginning of this creation, where we came from this big bang, or this creation of light. And we went out to travel through the galaxy for millennia. And all that whole time that we've been exploring ourselves in all these different dimensions and on Earth, for any incarnations here, it's all been part of the birth canal. So we've been from conception, and we've been going as a species just through being like in the womb. And now we're actually about to, from that perspective, be born for the first time. So we know that when we're inside the womb, where all these organs are actually developing and growing, and that's what's actually happening now with our junk DNA. What they thought was junk DNA, it's actually been just dormant DNA waiting to actually wire together so that we can step into an entire new species and put all this together and then be born into the world, something different. And in the Gene Keys and Human Design perspective, he uses the analogy, Richard Rudd will use the analogy of the dragonfly process, or the dragonfly's dream. And it's because he uses the dragonfly instead of the butterfly for the whole rebirth, because for the dragonfly starts as an underwater creature, as a nymph, and it has no idea what's going on inside of it, but all these genetic changes are happening. And then one day that underwater creature as a nymph is propelled by something to climb up a stem into the element of air. And Tash, yeah, go. Hang on.
No.
Did you want to
Keep
speak,
going.
Tash?
I was just adjusting something.
Oh.
Sorry. No, I don't want to interrupt your flow.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so then it's propelled to come into the element of air for the first time, sprout wings, which, you know, it uses the element of water. And we know that on Earth, water has, you know, water holds memory. We're the water planet, we're the karmic planet, we're holding the memory of all the galaxy. Like Earth's always been important in the galaxy because it is the water planet that's holding the memory of everything karmically. And it uses that water and it brings it right up to its heart. And from the heart, there's a shift that happens, and the dragonfly from there sprouts these wings from its thorax and brings these wings of light. And then the dragonfly takes flight for the first time, not knowing what's happening, but it's all happening inside of it as a genetic change. And that's what we're doing now as humanity. We're being birthed for the first time into higher levels of freedom that we can, we're starting to know and understand, but before that we couldn't even fathom while we were still back in the shadows of the 55. And it's happening through this 55th gateway, which moves from a collective of victim state into freedom and into the higher levels of freedom. So that's where we are as humanity. And yeah, these changes which we all see in our clients and ourselves, yeah, they're happening, and they're upgrading every day, and it's very quick now. So yeah.
That was so powerful, Shay. I remember I heard you speak about this first quite a few months ago when I had a session with you, and it really blew my mind, you know, this whole notion of the way that especially Gene Keys and Richard Rudd talks about the great change, and the way that the DNA of the humanity's DNA is upgrading and junk DNA becoming online. And it's really exciting. It would be great to hear from some of the other women here who do amazing frequency work with supporting people at that real frequency level. Jules.
Hi, everyone. Just making sure I'm not on mute. I'm Jules Stone McLeod. So I am a spiritual technology master, and I work with a few different spiritual technologies. But one of the main things I do is the crystalline program, so crystalline technology. So that's where, as Shay was talking about, we're moving from carbon to crystalline, and the junk DNA is becoming, that was dormant before, is now becoming activated. So that's what I do. So I actually, it's kind of super like expansive and out there. But what I do is work with star beings and people's star families, and I actually upgrade people from the outdated chakra system, which is starting to feel super dense and heavy, into the crystalline system, which we will all be moving towards at some point. But my understanding and what I've been downloaded is that there are people on the planet at the moment that are supposed to be crystalline sooner, so then they can help usher the others into the new earth frequencies. So yeah, the way I do that is I get downloaded a crystalline spine for people from their star families, and I actually implant that spine, and it runs from the throat chakra down to the root chakra, well, where they were, but the chakras, I dissolve the chakras first and then I implant the spine. And how you were talking, Shay, about everything like becoming connected, so that's what I do, is I connect all the vertebrae, synapses connect as well, and then I actually see the DNA start to recalibrate into crystalline. And then then when I go back and check, when I do the anchoring and the integration and I go back and check, it actually starts working from the spine out. So it can be a bit of a slow burn. Some people are activated straight away. Some people, it's a bit of a slow burn, but I see it like just start to move out, and eventually, yeah, all of your DNA is recalibrated. It's super, super cool.
Yeah, Jules, that's exciting, isn't it?
It is. It's super exciting.
Oh, it is just like this stuff makes me go all jiggy. So I'm Natalie Brown. I'm a spiritual wellbeing mentor, a master healer. I am the founder of Centaura Ascension Energy Healing, which is the creative frequency of God that creates worlds that's come back to humanity through my seraphim consciousness. And I hold a very strong seraphim line or seraphim consciousness that I've brought back here. And it's all about activating your sovereignty. And with this, many, many different creator codes. And when I talk about creator codes, I talk about your God codes. And it's bringing you back to your natural state of being, which is very exciting. And our natural state of being is in our crystalline body. It's our light body. And then also working with the crystal light technology, which is actual crystals within our crystalline body that is being activated, dormant crystals that we've had that held information of our gifts and at microparticle level, and also quantum information that we are now accessing through a recalibration of this. So within each of us, we hold these key codes, or these keys that basically I use, which I've downloaded directly from the divine, from God, and from my ascended masters and all the beings that's working with me. I create these incredible codes that sometimes I don't even know what they mean. I'm like, hello, what does this do? But I set the intention that it is going to activate and upgrade this person and completely create a I want to say new template, but it's actually a remembrance. It's coming back to what they were. And so yeah, the Centaura frequency is incredibly powerful. It is the frequency that holds all other frequencies within itself. So it is the frequency of God, and God has created all frequencies, all matter and everything that you can imagine. And it works alongside the diamond light, the seraphim diamond light, which is this beautiful vessel that allows all of these frequencies to come through so that we don't burn up in little, cinders, because it is such an incredibly powerful frequency. And it works, it's a very warm frequency, Centaura, it's the golden light, right? And when you see different frequencies, and when I channel these frequencies that come through, I can see blue, I can see silver, I can see purple. It's like a rainbow of colors. And what happens is, to the body, it basically completely dissolves out the patterning, any dis-ease, discomfort, any DNA that is distorted, okay, because we've had implants of DNA in our energy system, within our DNA, or our strands of DNA. And so Centaura works to upgrade us to 48 strands of DNA. This is where we're going. And a lot of people have only got 8, right? They're working at this level of 8 at the moment. So it's very powerful. It upgrades the organs as such as well, so that our organs are functioning in a better way, because our organs are not what they used to be anymore. And I've had, when I hear Jules talk about the crystalline body, I've had a crystalline body for a long time now. And also I was told by someone that looked into my heart space that I have a diamond heart. And this is what I feel what's happening with people. I'm activating their diamond hearts, and that diamond heart is filtering through lots of information that's coming through, and then activating the keys and codes within us that is ready to be activated. And though, like I said, those whenever it's activated or whenever it's turned, it's like your gifts come flooding back. Things that you have learned over many, many lifetimes. I tell you about your magnificence, everything that you could possibly imagine and be in this world, in this lifetime. So it's like we are walking light in physical form now, which is so amazing. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Shay.
Thank you. That was
really.
Oh, my echo.
I think it would be really great if we could explain to the audience. Sorry, is that me?
Yeah.
If someone would like to explain to the audience what you guys mean when you talk about crystalline, and like the actual specifics of that, because to someone who's not familiar with this term, it's you know, like let's anchor it really into like the 3D understanding. Who would like to talk about that? Who feels?
Jules, do you want to go? I'm happy to share.
Well, yeah, before I talk about that, I just wanted to say while you were talking, Natalie, yeah, what you do is so in alignment with what I'm doing. It's actually amazing, because in my work, once the spine goes in and I activate people's master codes, then it's like a diamond light is charged up, and it's like a triad between the pituitary pineal gland and the atlas bone, and a diamond light comes out the back of their skull and out their third eye. So yeah, it's a very similar thing. And also with the codal system that I do, that works with key codes that govern the rest of the codes, which also shift the DNA. So yeah, it's really similar. I didn't realize how similar our work was. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, so in regards to crystalline, so what's interesting is that there's not a lot of information around crystalline. If you look online and try and study it, like there's not a lot of stuff around. It's mainly what people have been downloaded. And so what I've been downloaded is really just how to work with it, and how to implant it. And that once it's like a new frequency, like it's just like a higher frequency that, as Natalie was saying, that that helps us live in remembrance of our gifts. It shifts our physical body as well. Like when I've been doing my work, like once they shift to crystalline, I've had people that have worn glasses for 35 years stop wearing glasses. Things like, you know, rheumatoid arthritis going away, people being able to just see the inner workings of their body now. There's like major physical, emotional, spiritual, like it's just a massive shift in consciousness. So yeah, that's my understanding of crystalline. I'm sure Natalie could probably speak into more.
Yes, so if you can imagine the purest energy that you can possibly imagine, okay, which is pure white light. If you can imagine your body as a highway of light, and it has different codings and streams of light that moves through it. Okay, so even though we call it the crystalline body, it's actually the God body. It's the it's God consciousness within this physical form that we hold. Okay, so we hold different streams of light. So I have been shown in my channelings that our crystalline, or our light body, if you want to call it, is like a highway of streams of information that move through the body. And so that we have, through our meridians, through our whole body system, the subtle body system, the different chakra spaces. I don't want to call them chakras anymore. I want to call them portals of light, because that's what you know, Spirit told me. Through our different portals of light, we are accessing this incredible information and then translating it through our body, our light bodies, to then send the information. So it's like a highway of information that we have running through our bodies. Yeah, that's pretty much what they shared. So I hope that's helpful.
Yes. I'll let you jump in a second, Steph. I was just with that, for me too, when I think of crystalline, because from now where we are going for humanity, we're able to travel into our higher bodies. So, you know, from our monadic body all the way down to the density of our physical body. And we know that as we exist on all these planes of reality, but the further we came down into this physical body, the frequencies are like, they're slow frequency waves and they're very dense. And from that perspective, we haven't been able to see much more than what's on the material. Even for people that knew we were spiritual beings having a physical experience, we still, until this point as a collective, we're still just more experiencing the victim states of the density, while we were only able to perceive these low frequency patterns. And from the point of crystalline, we do get like Natalie said, the highway all the way back to our higher bodies or to our beginnings, like Christ consciousness. And we see all of our bodies all the way up to our monadic body, and we can travel. Our consciousness is able to travel and expand and see way beyond what we could before. And even the experience of Jules with the crystalline, that's like the dissolving of the chakras into, you know, the spine of light is able to also, because this in the 7 sacred seals, the chakras are related to all the way up to our monadic body. And we're able to expand on all of them and see them all as a connective channel now, rather than sort of segregated chakras. So that's how I see it.
And it comes down to our travel vehicle as well, because I've been shown our travel vehicle, our Merkaba, actually is not just the Merkaba. We have a quantum rings of velocity around our Merkaba, which was downloaded through my Centaura program. And it's these 2 spinning rings that move around the body that is actually helping us to be in one place, and then next minute we're in the next place. So we are traveling at light speed and coming back, you know. So we are actually, through activating our crystalline body, or our I don't want to call it crystalline body, light body. It's our light body temple, right? When we're activating that, we have the ability to then access our expanded travel vehicle, which is then, you know, upgrading or moving into that space of receiving new technologies, being able to speak your light languages, being able to bring through different types of information that you've never accessed before, and also being able to access higher frequency where you can then speak to higher beings, or not that there's hierarchy as such, right? But where you definitely are able to access that next level of frequencies that's available to you. Yeah.
I find it. Oh, sorry, I'll hand over to you, darling.
No, go Tash. If you've got something to say, darling, it's fine.
Well, I was just commenting on the how curious I find it that, you know, the more the body is upgrading and shifting, it's like we're opening up to, like you said, Natalie, and I know for Jules's and you, Stefan, like all of the women in this space, new technologies, capacities with like greater capacity to channel, greater capacity to receive galactic information, divine information that is actually is like that the earth and humanity needs at this precise time in history in order to move forward. So, you know, really kind of coming over to the higher perspective and the incredible divine orchestration of it, and how the shifts that have happened over the many millennia, even here on earth, have prepared humanity for the great ascension, the great change, the great transition, the great awakening that we are stepping into. So I just blows my mind. Really.
I love that, Tash. I would love to speak into this space. You women are so freaking brilliant. I'm just loving this convo. So for anyone who doesn't know me yet, I'm Stephanie Lavelle. I'm a Genius Activation and Embodiment Master. And it's so beautiful to listen to Jules and Natalie and Shay speak about what they do, and have that shared out into this portal right now. And then for me to share, because I really feel there is a big difference. So while I, tap in and channel, you know, from galactic energy, I very much, when I'm working with my clients, am also focused on the embodiment piece of bringing that down into our physical reality. And I just, as Shay said in the beginning, you know, speaking into what changes we're seeing and what's happened for us, and then what we're witnessing for clients, and listening to all of you and listening to Natalie speak, actually, lots of things are dropping around my eldest son and what, you know, he is capable of and what's coming through for him. And oh man, I fucking love this stuff. So for me, you know, this frequencies of ascension, it is that bridge, you know, tapping in and understanding what's happening here is having pure knowledge and understanding of what's possible and where we're going, and the energetics, right? And then bringing that into our 3D reality in this human form, which a lot of us are moving beyond the 3D. A lot of us already have. Everyone on this screen most definitely has. You know, so being that bridge, you know, understanding what's happening with these frequencies of ascension and what we're experiencing right now in our reality, in our evolution, is such a beautiful bridge to explore, and then gives us that guidance as to where we are going. And so for me, when I work with clients, a big piece of what I do is channel someone's genius. What is a genius? A genius, for me, interprets to the mission your soul was incarnated to fulfill in this lifetime. So yes, we've had a soul for many, many lifetimes. I've been told I've had 736 lifetimes, man, woman, animal, whatever. So, you know, we've had a soul for a long time, but in this lifetime, like, what is your mission? What are you here to gift humanity, you know? And so when I do that, and one thing that Shay said at the beginning was around, you know, things being unfathomable to humanity, what we're starting to unlock now, the understanding these frequencies of ascension and starting to have a conscious awareness of them is like unfathomable till now for so much of humanity. And listening to you all speak, it's like I can see the progression of a session with me. So people come into a session and I give them their genius and they're like, what the actual fuck did you just say? Like, that's huge. It's unfathomable. They're like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Like, I don't know. I don't exactly know. And there's literally only been one person who is on this screen that I've ever delivered a genius to and gone, you're actually ready immediately to step into that genius. Like, you're literally right on the precipice. There's a few tweaks and you're good to go. Everybody else is like, what? Because we're talking like sorceress energies, unlocking, you know, witch abilities, speaking to aliens, star family communication, like sacred economics on this planet that are channeled from alien like sources. Like, there's so much that comes through that people are just like, what? Like, what am I meant to do with this information? So then understanding, okay, that's the possibilities, like Natalie was talking about, like that's the remembrance. That's that remembrance piece of like, oh shit, that's what I'm actually capable of. And then we work on actually bringing that into reality and grounding it down into, I'm actually capable of this. And so for me, it's really exciting because I get to channel these things, but they're not mine. They're not my gifts. They're not my remembrance of who I am. You know, like, I'm the deliverer of this. I am that bridge between worlds for people. I am the seer of souls and connector of truth. So, you know, I can see you on that soul level and connect you to your truth. What you do with that is up to you. Like, have no attachment to that. But I never ever get tired of like recognizing the magic that's hiding in plain sight in our reality. And I think that's why I love what I do, because people receive it and then wake up to like how magic they truly are and what is actually possible in their reality. And then it's the unfolding of that. So for me, I listen to you ladies speak and, you know, I see how we all link together. That's the beauty of, as well, of, you know, delivering these geniuses. So many of them, I see how they all link together. And, you know, what you guys deliver and support and offer the world is, you know, part of what clients that I work with need to unlock abilities. Like, I remember talking to Shay when my son got his gene keys and evolutionary astrology done like 6 weeks ago or something. And she mentioned that the ancient Egyptians believed we had 365 senses that we used every day. And now we're teaching our kids we've got 5. And I was like, whoa. Like, I heard that. And my son and I spoke about it again the other day. Like, we had a chat about it. And I was like, wow. Like, and my mind's ticking over going, what are those senses? what could they all be? Imagine that, like, this is crazy. But I realized that when I'm helping people remember and come back to their genius and then start to monetize that, and because that's the true wealth, right? Of who we really are, of being in service. So our true wealth comes from being in service to humanity. How better to do that than the reason we're actually incarnated to live on this planet right now at this point in time. And then it becomes easeful. Like there's no pushing that. Once you're fully aligned and you're living in your gifts and you're fully, you know, calibrated to that genius, it's like there's no hustle left anymore, people. Like there's no doubt, there's no lack consciousness. It's like we're in abundance, we're in wealth, because wealth is no longer about money. It's about connection, it's about vibration, it's about frequency, it's about wisdom, it's about service. So, you know, for me, it's like I see the beauty in this, and how then you guys are like the pieces of the puzzle that help unlock the 365 senses that we're meant to be operating with, you know, because I've got clients that do have work where it's like they're going to be tapping into energies that they've like never imagined were part of their reality. So who's the piece? Like I give them one piece, but it's like, who's the next person that's going to help them unlock those abilities, you know? And that's what I love about witnessing, you know, just the 5 of us on this screen, anyone watching that's got, you know, some epic abilities, you know, or amazing technologies to share with the world, or skills, or alien downloads, or star family connections, and, you know, like whatever's going on for people, we're all doing our thing, right? So I just love being able to recognize that it's all good to know the frequencies of ascension, and then we want to embody them, but then that all works together to bring about the whole evolutionary picture for humanity to be able to live in the reality that we call our human body, but have this knowing that we are a light body. We are a light body, and we are purely supported by God at all times. And just circling back to my son, because listening to you speak, and it was something Natalie said, I can't remember exactly what it was now, but I think it was something you said, and I remember about 365 senses, unlocking that, right? And the remembrance of who we are, I think it was. Because when he was little, he was probably about 8 or 9 when he told me he used to, like when we were driving, and especially at dusk, on the sides of the road, he would see spirits. And he could always tell it was a spirit because they were like holographic. And I was like, that's really cool, babe. And so, of course, you know, a few years later, he shut all that down and was like, no, I can't do that. I don't do that. So, you know, I'd be like speaking about it, like, I don't do that. Like, right, babe, you do, but whatever. Let you be there for a bit. And I know for me, I write about in my chapter, talking to Jesus, or a depiction of Jesus when I was 5. That was, my first sighting that I remember of a spirit, and came in with, some divine guidance for my mum. But I saw him as Jesus because that's, at the time, my family were going to church, and that's who I believe we received guidance from. I didn't realize that that's just a version of my higher self, or Christ consciousness delivering a message to me. I get all that now. Back then it was like, I'm seeing Jesus sitting at the end of my bed. How fucking cool is this? Okay, go give my message. But later in life, I shut all that down because I was super sensitive, and I was not appreciated for that. I was told that that wasn't good enough. That wasn't okay. I wasn't seeing anything, even though later in life, there'd be loads of conversations between my aunties and my mom about all the spirits that they've seen and stuff, but none of them are like spiritual. I'm like, how can you not be? Like, I look back now, I'm like, huh? But I digress. But my son, it really excites me because it took me years to come back and go, I've got these abilities. I'm going to celebrate them. I'm going to tap into them. I was literally like 32, I think. It was like 8-9 years ago before I went and did Reiki. Like, that was just the start of this. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a psychologist. I want to help people. I want to be in service. That's how I do it. I'm going to go and listen to people's story and, help mentor them in that way. And then I found Reiki. I was like, oh, no. I'm just going to go over here where all my weirdos are, because I'm a weirdo and that's where I fit in and I feel better there. So I went over there, and it took me years to come back and recognize who I truly am. Yet my son, who, you know, by 12, 13 was like shutting down his ability to tap in to these extra layers of sensory abilities and gifts that he's got. You know, I was talking to him maybe 2 months ago on his bed, and I'm sitting there having this really, really intense conversation, really important chat. And he's like, Mum, I can just see a light around your body. And I was like, okay, let's forget the important chat. Can you? What can you see? Because I can't see auras. So I feel things. I get divine messages, I get visuals, get all of that. I can't see people's auras. He can. He can see the colors running through me. He could see the light around me, explained it all and told me how it made him feel. I was like, man, you know, so for me, it's so exciting that he's on the precipice of turning 16 and he's already unlocking these abilities again and starting to acknowledge them and embrace them. So for me, it's so powerful that, you know, these frequencies of ascension are that like pivotal in our evolution right now. And for that next generation to be so ready to embrace it and start to actually live it in their reality, I'm just like, that's so fucking cool. So as much as like, yeah, I'm going to stop now and let someone else speak. But yeah, I'm just listening to you all and I'm like, man, it's all so beautiful to witness.
I love that, Steph, because ultimately, you know, yeah, there was a lot in that, what you said, but ultimately, why are we doing this, right? Why are we doing the work that we're doing now? It's because we are at that stage of evolution, humanity's evolution, where we are moving out of a space of destruction, okay, into this beautiful space of co-creation. And to be able to move from the space of destruction to co-creation, we have to go through several upgrades and be able to support our children, because they've come in as light or lighter, you know, light bodies. And so we have to be able to support our kids through the process. And I remember Spirit saying to me, Nat, you're going to be running a mystery school and you're going to be showing people how to, you know, change energy into matter. And this was about 5 years ago. I'm like, what's that? And then the next minute they throw, yep, you're here to, you know, teach the wizards. You're here to teach alchemy of God. And I'm like, okay, then, you know, and this list just goes on and on and on. But, you know, Steph, it's interesting how we're all at the level that we are. And I think, you know, Tash and Shay and Jules and all of us are at this level where we are all connected to this higher realm, the higher divine energies that's coming through. So I'm listening to Steph and she's talking about her genius, and I'm thinking like, that sounds like soul work sessions that I'm doing, where we're bringing through the dragons. You know, we're telling people, I mean, I told one of my clients recently that she is here to fulfill a prophecy of the dragons. She was like, what does that mean? And it's about really taking this information, this high level information, and really anchoring it in for people so that they can go run with it and then, like you say, monetize it, create a business from it. And that's what I love doing, is taking all of those beautiful things that we are, those multidimensional things that we are, and really simplifying it. Yeah. Bringing it down to earth level, like getting down with it. Because we have to. Yeah. And then running with it in a way where we can anchor it so that other people get it too, and they can attract the clients to them that then is ready to work with them.
Yeah, there's one of the like in the 55 portal, which is where humanity like moves through in the Great Awakening, it says it's not a matter of how anymore with the Ascension, it's just a matter of we. And because I was saying something to my brother yesterday about my ex, and I said, you know, I can't believe he knew a lot of this stuff, this spiritual stuff, but then he shut the door on it completely when when we got divorced. And I said, to do that, I don't know how you can shut the door on something like that. And one of my friends said, yeah, but that's because he was only doing it for you. And then my brother said to me yesterday, yeah, but in a way, what we're all doing it, we're all activating it through each other, but it's when it becomes over time, when it becomes like your own truth, and then it is you, and there's no way anymore that you can turn the door on it, because it's you, then it's not being activated from someone else. And sometimes I think, you know, sometimes it's exhausting being, not exhausting because it's amazing and it's powerful and it's exciting and it's new, and we wouldn't have it any other way in our contracts of what we're here for. But sometimes, like, going ahead and doing the work, sometimes you look at humanity and you go, come on, like, we've known where we're going for ages and it feels like we're dragging. And one of the girls that I was with the other day used the analogy of, like, the turtles, the 3 different turtles, like some turtles just choosing to stick the head in the sand forever and not seeing what's going on. And the other turtle that pulls its head out and looks around, knows what's going on and sees it, but then goes, I'm too scared, puts the head back in the sand. And then she said, and then us, like the way showers, will be the turtles that they'll come out and know what's going on. And she said, and then I call it like the biggest loser challenge, because even though we stumble and it's raw and it's sometimes difficult, it's like there's no way you can go back into the sand, because you know you've got to do something for humanity. And even when we're stumbling and thinking it doesn't look pretty, there's something in our contracts. It's like this is the age of, like, Aquarius is obviously, it's the unity consciousness of doing it together. And if we're in the birth canal with the divine blueprint, that it is a remembering, because we have all of this in the beginning of creation as our divine blueprint, that this is all you, all these God codes are you, even if they've been sort of dormant. If we're ready to be born, when we're pregnant, we can't go, okay, I'm not ready to have this baby. It's like, well, this baby's coming out one way or another. So you can't keep it in there forever. So however you're going to do it, if you're going to volunteer for I'm going to be put under every anesthetic or whatever they like, like have an emergency not emergency, but a cesarean, and pretend it's all like tapping out to it, or whether you're going to stay fully awake to the whole process, it's coming out no matter what.
Yeah, Tash, you talk about this a lot. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah.
The birthing process.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we are in. And I love, Shay, that you mentioned that at the beginning of the call. You know, we have been in this gestation period as humanity, and like, that's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, what are we really capable of if we're truly only leaving, the proverbial cocoon now, and in the years to come? What are we truly capable of? I really feel that what's happening at the moment is it's shaking everything up. It's shaking everyone awake. Well, it's attempting to shake everyone awake. Whether they will be woken up or choose to stay like that turtle, head buried in the sand, is entirely up to them and their journey. But just like a powerful birth, it is an initiation. We are dying to the old and being reborn to the new. And so we're having a very high level conversation here. And I want to just really preface that for everyone in this group, if you felt a resonance with this Warriors of Light movement, you are entering into this higher level in and of yourself, right? That is the natural progression of your journey, of your soul's journey. And you'll be at a various point along that spectrum of progression. But I feel, it is a call to arms in a sense of it is time. Like, we have no more time to sit on our hands and distract ourselves from the reality of what we're here to do. And so for many people who maybe don't feel like they have great clarity around what they're here to do, or they may be working a job that they don't align with, and maybe listening to the conversation that we're having might seem like completely out there and what are they even talking about? But I feel that there's people who are waking up and ascending into that higher state of leadership. And the word is leadership. embodied, empowered leadership. And that doesn't need to mean like leading in politics or leading on the global stage. It could be leading in your family, you know, taking a position of leadership amongst your friends, calling in the courage to speak truth when maybe it might feel, you know, more comfortable to kind of soften the edges. Call in the courage to question things and to butt up against the status quo, and to share with people your unconventional strong points of view. Like, these are the ways in which we all lead. And this is what this rebirth is taking us into. It's this next phase that we are stepping into. I'm a very, very staunch believer of this. It's why I consider myself a leader of the leaders, a facilitator of community, bringing people together who are ready to ascend into that next level through their soul's work. I do this through my multi-author books. I do this through my business coaching containers. And at the end of the day, like this, there's no more time to stuff around. Like, it's showtime, you know, like the curtains have drawn, you've been pushed onto stage, and now it's time for you to take your place. Remember your lines, like remember the power of who you are as a soul, holding the truth of your humanity at the same time. So I kind of went off on a tangent there, but that's what I say in reflection and response.
I love that, Tash.
So powerful.
What I find really cool is that even though we are, as you just said, Tash, talking about like this high level stuff that some people watching might be like, what the fuck are they talking about? That, as you know, Natalie was saying, and Steph with their geniuses, like we've all been there before, where we've been downloaded information, or we've been told information, and we're just like, what? This is so high level, like we don't even get it. I've told my friends like this funny story where I woke up one morning and I heard a voice in my ear say, you need to track the frequency of the neutral diametic. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And I looked up diametic, like it's literally not even a word. So then I had to unravel, and I got my genius done by Steph, who helped me figure out what the neutral diametic was. But it's just like this process of, like, if people are watching and they don't understand it on an intellectual level, if they feel a resonance within, that means like they're supposed to be here, and that they're like, this is the direction that they're supposed to be going in. Because I mean, even now, like even the stuff that we're doing now, we'll get downloaded information where we're just like, what does that even mean? Like our brains cannot even comprehend what it means.
Yeah.
And that's just so normal in this process. Like it's an unraveling of what everything is.
I feel like,
sorry. I love simplifying the information. So taking all of that, like I always think that I've swallowed a spiritual sciences dictionary, and I've been told that in many lifetimes I've been a scientist. So I love going and researching things and finding out like that. You know, when Spirit talked about the quantum rings of velocity, they sent me on this whole journey of finding out exactly what that meant and how it works. And I feel that for those people that are stepping into, like, if you feel you've got things activating within you, right? If you feel that you are starting to do things, see things, experience things, receiving downloads and things that haven't happened before, know that we're sitting in this beautiful frequencies that's supporting your evolution, that's supporting your ascension. You are simply being activated. And if you don't know what to do with that, come to one of us, or you know, someone that can translate it for you, that can simplify the information for you, that can tell you, okay, this is how you work with it. This is where it comes from. You know, maybe you've been doing it in 50 past lives, you know, or whatever the case might be, or it's related to a prophecy, or it's related to something that you need to download, a technology that you specifically have to activate and bring through. Or more at the lower, not the lower level, but at the grounded level, being a mum, teaching your children in a different way, being a grandmother, grandfather, you know, being a friend, a sister, and being able to translate information intuitively, being able to guide people and guide yourself through this beautiful compass, this new way of being through life.
I love that. And I just wanted to add, to everything that Tash, Jules, and Natalie were just saying. You know, the one thing that kept coming through listening to all of you is that for someone that is new to this, for someone that is just awakening, to also just have that curiosity that like intention is everything right now as well. Because like Natalie said, we are fully supported on an energetic frequency level for this to occur. Like Shay's spoken into, like it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of we. Like it's happening, guys. Like it's all happening. But understand, like even if you don't know what's going on, but like Jules said, if there's that like that pull, like you've got that resonance, just understand that your intention is all that matters. Like if you've got an intention and just you're like, yeah, okay, this, don't know what it means, but I know I'm on board with this. I know that it feels good to me. Then just have the intention that you're open to letting it happen. That's it. Like just have the intention to actually support the process. And that is huge. That is absolutely huge. And then stay curious with yourself and what's happening.
And allow yourself to be guided towards people to work with that you feel like you resonate with as well. Because just listening to us, it feels like we're all headed in the same direction. We're all on the same highway, but we just are all in different vehicles and we transport people in our own vehicles. And I mean, everybody's going to be drawn to a different type of vehicle. So just, you know, find your person and allow them to guide you.
I love that analogy.
Absolutely.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
I think the word curiosity, Steph, is so important because like the monkey mind, which seeks to grasp and seeks to hold on and tries to understand, is actually going to slow down and limit this process. You know, it's like throughout the many, many millions of years of evolution, your mind, it controls the body and its main focus is to keep you safe, you know, and to keep you safe, often using a very outdated way, in a very outdated model. So for those people who are grappling, and I know that has been me, like grappling with my mind and consciously knowing that like the body and my intuition, it lives in my body, it doesn't live in my mind. My mind will try and override it. And that's been, from my experience, one of the biggest challenges that I've ever experienced is learning how to trust when there isn't any evidence to back it up physically yet. And I'm sure every single one of us has had that experience where we have had an intuitive nudge, we've had an intuitive hit. There hasn't been anything physical, but we've had to trust it, put the monkey mind at ease, and step into that space of surrendering to the next step.
Yeah. With that, Tash, as well, I was just thinking, you know, with what you said with the mind, like that's so true, because the mind is here to protect us and keep us safe, but the mind only knows the past, and it only knows the negatives and the traumas to keep us safe from them. Whereas the soul, it is a motivating force. It knows where it's going. It knows exactly what it's here to do, and it knows exactly always where it's going, because it's moving back to source again. Even though we were always there in that higher dimension, you know, we had to experience that involution period down to matter, and it knows where it's going. But when the mind is like the healthy co-pilot and the soul is the pilot, that's when it's right. And yeah, we do try sometimes in humanity, especially in that last epoch, it's all been the intelligence or the intellect from the mind level, and now it is fully let the soul be in charge because it knows what it's doing. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And I think that I could go on about this forever as well, but you know, along with the frequencies of ascension in terms of the embodiment of this and how it's going to play out in our physical lives, you know, if you are a woman, starting to tap in and understand feminine energy is really important. To support the frequencies of ascension. If you're a man, start to look in and understand masculine energy and how to embody those energies in this physical realm. And like Tash was saying, you know, for women, it's so important for us to get out of our head and tap into how we feel about things. You know, that's the key for us. It's tapping into, and that again comes down to, you know, having that intention. And like Jules was saying, you know, if it feels like you've got that pull to it, that resonance, like that's what you got to be trusting, you know, staying curious with how am I feeling, and do I like letting yourself trust in that, because that's your own internal guidance system, and that is the purest and most sacred and profound guidance system you're ever going to tap into, and the most helpful, the most supportive of you, individual you. You're the only you, and you will always know what's best for you. So, start to lean into that and start to recognize when it's talking to you from your body, like Tash was saying, tapping into that body and the feelings that course through your body, given whatever's going on around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so important, Steve. So as you were talking, Spirit was just downloading something to me, and they said the key is embodiment of your feminine and masculine energy.
Absolutely.
Rising in your true frequency. When I'm talking about your true frequency as a woman, your true frequency is the divine feminine. Yes, rebalancing with the masculine and vice versa. So the key is there. All your power lies within that. So thank you, Spirit, for that message.
Absolutely. Always thank you, Spirit. Always.
Yes.
Yeah.
Powerful chat.
Well, we're at 107. Do you want to continue, or shall we cut it there? What do you think, Tash?
Yeah, if there's anyone else who has anything burning to say, and of course, I think I will just say quickly, please share your comments and your insights into the comment section, guys, because this is a really powerful and important conversation. It might be a new conversation for you. It might be a conversation you're familiar with, and whatever end of the spectrum you land, like your comments, your insights, your ahas are incredibly valuable. We really encourage that. Please don't be a wallflower inside of this group. This group is here for community and connection. And, this isn't just us talking at you. We really desire to initiate a conversation, and a conversation is a two-way experience. So as we move forward, we have another day tomorrow of amazing roundtable conversations. And then on Friday, we have our exciting book launch. Our links go live at 9 a.m. and at 10:30, we actually have a launch party inside of Zoom, which all of our authors will be attending. And you guys are most welcome. If you have Zoom on your computer, you're most welcome to jump in and to chat with us. You'll be hearing from all of the authors. We will be, it'll be very casual, very, exciting to come together. And we really encourage that you guys turn up as well. That's all I wanted to say from a facilitator perspective. Anyone else want to say anything to wrap up? Any final thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I just want to say, this is very high level stuff, and it can be sometimes scary, challenging, but it's also incredibly liberating to step into this space of understanding. Knowledge is power. So the more you find out about yourself, the more you are curious and learn about yourself, and keep questioning things, and always come back to your truth. What feels good for you? What feels right for you? Does this resonate with me? Is this something that speaks to my heart? It's always key to be able to come back to that space. And I always feel, especially because we're moving into such a new space, I'm very much in that space. I've been in that space in the last 4 months, where I'm moving from doing something that I know really, really well into something that I'm like, hello, my human is freaking out. My soul knows what I'm doing. I'm teaching alchemy, and I'm teaching wizards, and I'm going to be talking to plants, and I'm going to be bringing through lots of information that's never before been shared here for humanity. And it's scary as AF. It's very scary, right? But if we don't ask the questions, how would we know? How would we evolve? How would we expand? And so always stay curious.
How do we get back our 365 senses?
Yes. Let's activate those. So thank you for listening, everybody. It's been so amazing to share all of this information with you. And if you have any questions for us, please do ask, because this is our genius. This is what we love doing, and we'd love to share more information about it.
Yes,
so
beautiful.
All right.
Thank you. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah. Thanks, Shay. Thanks, everyone watching.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Shay, you're welcome to turn off the live stream now, I think.
Yes. So, okay.
Everybody.